The Bad Batch has reached its final conclusion, and we are now in a phase of reflection and admiration for what the series has given us. And I think we should talk about it. The Bad Batch has generally been an incredible experience for many of us Star Wars fans, and I do think that it will stand as a fundamental pillar of some of the best Star Wars canon content we have gotten so far. One may even argue at this point that The Bad Batch is overall as good as Andor, or possibly even better, depending on kind of what style of Star Wars you appreciate. I definitely understand that some people might not like Andor due to its ties with realism compared to what we'll get in animation, but again, I do think that The Bad Batch is definitely up there with some of the best we've seen ever in Star Wars canon. Mainly because of how dedicated they were to tell great stories and spend the majority of the episodes, especially in Season 3, to build up each prominent character in the series, and give them a sense of value and importance within this galaxy. So generally, this series is honestly truly beautiful. That is at least what I think, and you can definitely see around in the community that a lot of people share the same opinion as me. For simply going through different social media communities, you can see how much fans have loved these main characters in The Bad Batch. Like, some people even go to the extent to make these characters their type of personality on the social media platforms, be that YouTube or on X/Twitter or any other places where they can creatively express their passions for Star Wars. I also do remember when I was at Star Wars Celebration 2023, there was this particular group of people who were friends and also family members teaming up to cosplay the entire Bad Batch crew. And I remember walking past them and just thinking, wow, this is incredible, and it's a serious level of dedication. And again, that just proves to show that these characters have a lasting impact on us fans. And that is exactly what we want from a Star Wars series or a movie, to have characters that we end up highly appreciating and that we want to remember for a long time after their stories have concluded. However, a little bit more on a personal note, I do have some slight issues with how they used Hemlock in this series, particularly in Season 3. I am obviously a little bit more on the critical side when it comes to this character because he turned out to become one of my favorite characters in the entire series. I really thought he was a wonderfully crafted character all the way up till the very ending of Season 3. But I'm not going to talk too much about that right now because I want to make a dedicated video on that specifically and kind of broaden my thoughts around what I think they should have rather done with Hemlock, and a little bit why I think his fate didn't go the way it probably should have for a character as important as Hemlock. So do stay tuned for an upcoming video regarding all of that. With that said, there was one particular thing that I did really enjoy from the ending of Season 3. Especially because I feel I was half right, or somewhat half right, with my earlier theory videos concerning the future of Omega. As you recall, at the very end, they skip many years ahead till a point where Omega is now a grown-up adult, and she's now traveling to fight alongside the rebellion to try and bring down the Galactic Empire. And during this moment, you can see that Omega is wearing a form of red tie that suspiciously resembles very much the bandana of Hunter, which he was wearing earlier in his life. So it does certainly look like at this point Hunter has given his bandana to Omega, and Omega is now reaching out to the broader galaxy to do even more good, and so that she can keep on doing what she does best and help other people while still trying to maintain her relationship with the rest of the Bad Batch group, aka her family. So although I wasn't fully correct with my theory on how her entire story would unfold by the very end, I was happy with these facts that we did see her grow up. We also saw her go and travel out in the further galaxy to try and help it out and fight a bigger cause. And also, most specifically, because she got Hunter's bandana, which to me has a lot more visual significance than what it might look like. So with all of that in mind, considering how the episode ended, it does raise the question whether or not we'll see Omega once again. And I do think the simple answer to that is yes, we will definitely see her once again in Star Wars. Whether or not that will be animation or live action, I'm not entirely sure, but I would be definitely confused if we did not see Omega once again, especially after how they set her up with the very end of the Bad Batch. But I do not think the same for Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair. I do think that these are now old beaten up clones. They have fought their fights and they've done their part in the galaxy. So I don't think it is likely that we'll see them once again. At least not in a long, long time. Perhaps we'll get a mention by Omega where she says their names or refer to their history, but seeing them do something on screen again, I think it's very unlikely at this point. And I'm personally fine with that, because these guys have done their part. As Hunter says at the very end, they have fought enough battles for a lifetime, and I think that's pretty fair. Now they can rest and they can kind of live on their little island and be just regular people, instead of having to be soldiers all the time. So yeah, I think this series definitely touched upon many hearts within Star Wars fandom, and I am personally very, very happy with the ending. And yes, again, I do have some issues with how they concluded Hemlock's story at the very end, but besides that, I think this series is definitely at the top for me as one of the best Star Wars canon content we've gotten ever. But I would be interested to know what you guys think in the comment section below, because I know a lot of you guys have different opinions on this show, and I would definitely love to talk about it with you guys. So, with that said, never forget, the Bad Batch is always with you.